And welcome everybody to Locked On Lads TV. Tonight we are at Kansas Motor Speedway for my private seller, bringing you the Australasian Supercar eSeries. The flag has just been flown for practice, which means the ladies and gentlemen that are out there about to race are getting ready to go out there and qualify for tonight's round 5 of, like I said, the Australasian Supercar eSeries, brought to you by my private seller. What a great place to be, to deal with my private seller. Go check them out. That'd be great. Tonight we are Speedway. We are driving really fast, and we are in V8s, Holdens, and Commodores. Welcome to it. I'm Peter Wilkinson on behalf of Locked On Lads TV. Once again, Scotty Rankin's not here just yet, and Carl Withy is resting up. Hopefully Scotty will join us fairly soon. But for now, let me find out where my timing screen is, and let's go see who's on track setting a lap. Let's go with Todd Maxfield. He's out there right now putting some laps down. We're going to hide this and we're going to show that. Tonight, foot to the floor, go as fast as you can. Let's bring this stuff on. Welcome to Jason Close and Cal Heinrich in chat over there on YouTube. Great to have you guys here. Dropping below the line, Todd does, and Todd puts down a lap that's going to get him P3 currently at the moment. Troy Davison takes the lead so far with that time is a 31.12 is the benchmark right now. Let's see if anyone can beat him, if anyone can. Or Craig Roffey almost goes to the top there. But we are getting ready to see some fast lap times here. Let's go on with Aaron Dillon as he crosses the start-finish line. Oh, McKenzie. Darren McKenzie jumps to the top of the leaderboard there. Aaron Dillon pushes himself to third. This is a matter of hundredths of a second tonight that's going to separate so much of the grid. We got 1/10 separating first to seventh at the moment. Let's see. Let's go right aboard as Aaron Dillon goes around for his second lap. He comes out, foot to the floor. He's going to drop down below this line, cross the finish line, and he does not improve. 31.15. No, 123. Leaves himself in seventh. That one was a little bit slower. We're talking hundredths of a second once again. Matt Payton doesn't sound like he's going too well at the moment. He's going to pull out of that one. There's a whole heap of cars here once again that will not, I repeat, set a lap time just because they want to start from the back of this grid. Just deleting some messages. Cool, Twitch. We don't need that kind of stuff over there on Twitch. So like I said, I'm Peter Wilkinson, and I'm joined tonight by Scotty Rankin. How are you, mate? He's not there. My Discord is playing up. He may not be able to hear me. I may not be able to hear him. I don't know. It's all been a little bit weird tonight. Looks like my... We are live and we have got the grid. We are about to go. Let's see if I can just quickly fix some audio settings. I did the old reboot of the computer before we started tonight. That one should be enough. Are you there, Scott?
I can finally hear you, Wilco. It's been a week.
It's been...
Get to experience the grandiose nature of such a lovely voice that brings the beautiful broadcasts through the Locked On Lads Network.
Now you are fine for me. You are, however, not fine for the audience. Let me bring you right up there.
Ooh, okay, that's fine. I won't repeat what I said because it was about the first time I've ever complimented somebody on a broadcast, and I won't repeat that. That's
we won't
not
do
on.
that. So look, we are here for Kansas Motor Speedway. We have got kind of a one floating around there. Raymond Yeager, is he still going? He's got a lap time he's going to put down on the board.
He's leaving it late.
He's leaving it very late. We have 9 seconds.
He's not going to cross the line. He's not going to cross the line. He's out of time. So he has missed the run by Oh, it's going to be less than 2 seconds.
There it
He's
is.
missed it.
He's done. So let's go through it. We've got Barry Neal at the top of the table. I want to hear your thoughts in a second on what's going on with Kansas, but let's get into let's just have a look. I'll just see if we get pit lane up. We're not going to get any cars out there just yet. I'm going to have to get the chat in a sec. Chat's blown up while everything's gone crazy. Barry Neal, though, we have got him starting at the front of the grid. And a pretty grid. We've got lights on tonight, Scotty, with the Fords and the Holdens. But let's go through it. Barry Neal, Darren McKenzie second, Cade Donnelly third, Jai Schultz fourth, Troy Davison fifth, Adam Malone sixth, Craig Roffey seventh, Peter Jones 8th, Aaron Dillon 9th, Aidan Schultz 10th, Ruben Phelps 11th, Andy Barber 12th, Tom Pritchard 13th, Nigel Patton 14th, Dan Northruff, I haven't seen that name before, 15th, Gary Wellman 16th, Sean Hart 17th, Christopher Finlay 18th, Jason Wolfe 19th, and Kim Roffey down in 20th, Todd Maxwell 21st, Brendan Cusack in 22nd, Greg Spencer in 23rd, Dwayne Pierce in 24th, Derek and Jacobs in 25th, Alan Gill down there in 26th, Nicholas Walsh in 27th, the crowd favourite Stephen Hall in 28th, Aaron Bryan in 29th, Peter Gretton in 30th, Troy Mortensen in 31st, Christopher Tomlin in 32nd, Ed Bacon in 33rd, another name I haven't seen in this series, Tristan Koch in 34th, Raymond Yeager, we just saw there not setting a time, down in 35th, Nick yep, that one. Nick is in 36th. Marty Mitchell, I've been going so well. 37th. Martin Van Torgren in 38th. Justin Witcher, all the way down there. Our championship leader in 39th. Jamie Nankervis in 40th. Matt Payton in 41st. Brad Fenley in 42nd. And Brett Campbell, right at the back of the grid there, in the 015 at 43rd place. What do you reckon?
There's something I kind of want to talk about, and we'll probably talk about it a lot throughout the
You
mixture
want to talk about something? What's going on?
Me? No, I never talk about anything. I don't ever. No. Look, what I want to talk about is it's actually race awareness and building a race. Qualifying. It's one thing. We know that we have a lot of talented drivers in this field. So that says to me, qualifying is actually one of the hardest things that you can do. If you mess qualifying up, just a fraction, or if your name is Raymond Yeager and you don't make it back to the start-finish line on that second flying lap. Now, crucially, he did finish his first lap, but the first lap in these cars at this location is a momentum-building lap. It's not your fast lap. It's always going to be the second lap, no matter what car you're in at this circuit. Stock cars, all of them are going to be identical. You just don't have enough time to get up to speed before you start that first lap. That's critical. But it's really not, because if you actually have a look at what the Pinnacle Esports boys have done the last kind of couple weeks, they tend to start at the front. Then they drift back. And then from about lap 70 onwards, they drift themselves back to the front. What that says, and what a lot of these guys need to be start note-taking is, I don't need to be at the front end of town all night long. What I need to do is I need to look after my equipment, I need to look after my tires, and I need to make sure that my strategy is ready to go. And then go for it at the right opportunity. Doesn't have to be all the time.
And we're off and racing. It was very good. Barry Neal is out to the lead. I didn't think they were that far around, but I'll let you go. We have a beautiful start here as we see is that the Sky Point racing car getting a little bit wide up there. 27, Jai Schultz. But Barry Neal gets away from the pack just ever so slightly. Not going to last long. These boys will drag him back in with that draft. Very, very similar front row as we always see. The Stars? Is that what they are? They were having a pretty good line up there in the top run. But that's Troy Davison jumping down into the bottom line as they just... They're not staying in the line, Scotty. What are they doing? What's going on?
They're all just sort of searching for a little bit of clear track to run on at the moment, trying to get some good clean air to the spoiler. Craig Roffey is probably a big story to talk about over the last couple of weeks, because if you remember back to Pocono, he's just a victim of a little bit of bad luck back there. Unfortunately, I think it was Brett Campbell who said that he did run into him, he did make a mistake, but he actually had an intruder at his house at the same time. So obviously protecting his person outside of the sim, that's priority number one. And Craig Roffey just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's life, man. You just gotta move. You gotta deal with that. You gotta move on. what Justin Witcher has done really, really well, and a key part of the championships that have been built by the Pinnacle Esports over the last couple of teams, is race construction. Not 1 lap pace construction, not 20 lap pace construction, 134 lap race construction on the 1.5 mile tracks. That has been their edge over everyone else. They have been consistently able to build lap races together. A lot of the other competitors have put races together inconsistently, and that's the difference.
Yeah, it is. I want to quickly, you've touched on a point that I wanted to get to eventually anyway, and while things are a little bit normal at the moment, which I like to hear, because with this series, normal...
It's a race start. It's not normal.
No, normal doesn't hang around for long. As we see, what has happened here? Barry Neal, who was up there, I missed it in all that camera changing, has just drifted way back down the field from his early lead, and Troy Davison's now way up the front.
So from memory, remember I was talking last week about Barry Neal and I went very, very hard on the track, and I couldn't actually recall which track it was. We both burned our rubber off. I'm pretty sure that was the last time this series went to Kansas. So that'll be Barry Neal reacting from experience.
Well, that's good to see. I like to see people reacting from experience. As these guys out front, Jai Schultz and Troy Davison and Roffey, all nose to tail doing a really good job. I wanted to get to that team's championship, as you were talking about. Pinnacle Esports Racing just seems to do it and be very consistent each and every week. 54 points.
Oh, we're 4 wide at the back of the pack.
Oh,
I'll tell you what, about midpoint, about P20, we are 4 wide, and Kim Roffey's one of the ones right at the front end of this. Coming off of turn 1 and 2, it looked like they were 4 wide. It's basically everyone's getting, one guy's getting a run on one another guy, that guy's getting a run on another guy, that guy's getting a run on another guy, and they're all sort of going to try and take these runs somewhere. That's the trickiest part.
Something's happened to Dwayne Pierce there. He's missing the boot. He's gone for that modification for speed. So
who needs downforce? It's just a parachute, basically.
That's it. So I'm interested to know what happened there, but hey, no idea. We've been too busy chatting about up front, as they are still 3 wide here around Dame Pierce. 827's getting a little bit. Jason Wolf there's getting a little bit wobbly as he goes around. A very nice looking car, but there's action packed in the middle of this pack right now. This what I was just about to go to. So is that Barry Neal going back even further?
He's just cruising. Again, it's about building the race. Pretty much with any oval racing, it is very unlikely that you go flag to flag is generally, I believe, the term that they use, which is green flag to checkered flag.
Yeah.
Without that yellow flag being waved at some point in time. So this will be Barry just saying, hey, look, I just want to hang on to a little bit of rubber here. Just chill out. You know, if you have a rookies running towards the top side of the track, this also might say to me that fuel may be a critical factor. If fuel was a critical factor, though, you would 100% for sure see Gary Wellman a lot further down the field, looking to conserve as much as possible. The fact that he's not. Now, Craig Roffey, this is obviously his rookie season in this series, but Craig, I've seen a lot of him over a lot of the other series. He's generally one of the more cluey, very switched on drivers, very aware of if there's a strategy. Huge wreck, turn 1.
We have it indeed. It was building up to that. We have the caution on. Let's go back and find out exactly what this, when I get my camera tool working properly.
10 laps. 10 laps is enough to come down for a splash too.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go instant replay here. Always go to the chopper. You see there, ooh, Skypoint Racing gets a big punt from the 827, who is Jason Wolf.
So that's an odd one. He just sort of, he's trying to react to the wall. So he's getting closed up a little bit on the wall, wants to try and get off the wall coming down in the corner, open the corner up, which means he's likely to scrub the front right tire. So that's what the car up against the wall is attempting to do. Obviously, they've just misjudged it slightly. And the other thing is the car to the bottom, blind spot, complete and utter blind spot. He would have currently, even with triple monitors, he'd be visible now. And it's too late.
And the 27 of Jai Schultz is just the unfortunate person in that real. And Barry Neal,
That
being
was
up
Barry.
front, has taken a hit, and he's actually gone into someone else there as well. So he's got damage both sides, which is always the issue. Is if you are running at the back of the field, you are more chance of getting caught into other people's wrecks, unfortunately. Nigel Patton here has pulled up.
A whole bunch of cars still filing into pit lane at this point. So just about. So remember what I said? Probably the opportune moment to try and come down pit lane, take a splash. 10 laps is a reasonable distance. 10 laps is definitely a reasonable distance. We've only had 2 cars stay out, 3 cars stay out. So Darren McKenzie, Ruben Phelps, and Peter Jones are the only 3 as we go back through the replays once more.
Yeah, this is just from Nigel Patton's point of view.
Nowhere
to go.
Nothing he could have done because the track. You might be sitting there going, but what about steering down the track, steering down to his left? There's definitely a car to Nigel's underside there. He cannot go any lower. If you have a look, straight out his front left window, you can see it.
Yeah,
and the other thing about oval racing is if you touch those brakes on the banking, you just slide straight up the track.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
Just straight on.
And Matt. Oh, who's that? The other one. That's 6-2 something. 622 was the one that Nick was the one who punted. That's all 3 of them involved from the team. All 3 of those cars right there from the one team. Not doing the best tonight. Let's go back to live as we catch up with the new leader of the race, Darren McKenzie, staying out, deciding not to pit. I've got him the only one with a non-stop, except for Ruben Phelps is in now.
It did shuffle itself out. Ruben did come down. I think Ruben was actually. I was just keeping an eye on a few cars towards the tail end of the field. Effectively, what happened was they were at the point whereby they were so far behind the pack that by the time they got to the pit lane entry, they were close to going a lap down if they'd actually pitted. So instead of risking it, come back around. Ruben's clearly said, "I want to be at the tail end of this pack anyway, where I've got a lot of options." So he's comfortable. It's just wearing it. It's lap 10. Don't be too worried about track position right now. Fuel is far more important than track position right now. So
yeah, definitely. I just want to quickly find our mate Barry Neal here. See how much damage he's got. Damage down that right hand side.
Damage on the left as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to get an angle from that far side.
So that's disappointing. I wanted to see a little bit of Jai Schultz on Barry Neal racing again.
Yeah, we've got Stevie Hoppert in chat on Facebook who was saying he almost raced tonight, but he wanted to see the Barry running a tyre strategy, if that's what it was.
Yeah.
Mace 1, go Steve Hall, Cheer Squad is back, baby. Welcome back to Steve Hall Cheer Squad. We've given him a little bit of love tonight. Interesting, Justin Witcher up 19 places in 20th. We will go through that leaderboard fairly soon, but don't forget, My Private Seller is bringing you tonight's great racing and also other sponsors such as...
I tell you what, if you actually want to get an interesting viewpoint from this restart, actually go on board with Justin Witcher. Have a look at what Pat Racing looks like, because it is, to a circuit racer, this is completely and utterly different to anything else you might actually experience. Circuit racers, 1-2 corners around an 18-corner track, that's your race, You're not going to go side by side all the time. These guys are going to be 2-3 wide for a bulk of the lap at another cookie cutter style oval. Cookie cutter, generally 1.5 mile tracks, tend to be cookie cutters, similar layouts, similar formations. A lot of them are foot to the floor most of the lap, draft pack style racing. Creates really exciting racing, really door-to-door racing. It creates tricky, technical car positioning scenarios, and you'll see that from Witcher here.
And here we go, they are about to jump. Yet again, Darren McKenzie will take them away, and off we go. As Justin gets up to speed, we can see the front staying too wide as they should, which is pretty good. Justin goes to the high line, trying to move his way around the outside of this pack, get himself just a little bit further up. I know he'd prefer to be just a little bit further up, but as you said, you're in pack racing here. Anything can happen at the moment. You want to be sort of more up the front if you can, or just right at the rear so you can steer clear of everything. That's my motto anyway. But Justin's just hanging back. He's giving himself plenty of room to the car in front. So if anything does happen, he's good, but he's not far enough that they're gonna lose the draft that they do need, as we just done a full lap on restart with Justin McKenzie, as Gary Wellman has gone to the front of the pack around the outside there of Roffey, and that is 0-2 of Darren McKenzie.
Yeah, D-Mac's just going to be a little bit conservative here. He's down on fuel, so ultimately he's actually got the fastest, lightest car of this group, but he just wants to make sure that he's hanging with these guys. Have a look at the car off the bottom. That's Roffey. So shortest distance around the track means that he really pushes out a long way, and he was actually clear of everyone else that was around of him. So last week, Roffey did get an opportunity to run a lot of laps up at front at Pocono, but the problem was he ran too many laps out in sort of the lead. He wasn't in the lead. He was in about fourth spot, but he had that huge gap ahead of him, so he wasn't picking up any drafts. So be curious to see if he's actually learned any lessons out of the fuel strategy and how to play it from last week. I get the feeling Aaron Dillon will be one kind of guy that'll just be like, yeah, look, you go punch the hole in the air.
That is it. Aaron just needs to be happy where he is. We want to talk about Sim Boys in a second. We've got Jai Schultz in chat on Facebook. He's saying that actually hurt his hand a bit. That hit that he got in the back of the pack there that caused that first caution. Want to go through, we've got 43 cars started the race. We unfortunately have 37 through to 43. So that is the bottom 7 are 6 or more laps down currently, unfortunately. But Justin Witcher's just hanging there. Him and the cheer squad's favourite Steve Hall has just gone past him. There's sort of, you can see there's a nice little gap between them and the group in front, and I think they're happy with that right now because, as you said, track position won't matter. We've got 110 laps to go. Even if we do go green, they can make it back up somewhere down the track. As some moves there from Ruben Phelps as he starts to come back through the field ever so slightly from his extra pit stop.
Aaron Dillon and Craig Roffey are playing with fire. Coming off of turn 3, Roffey just sort of got to Dillon's rear bumper. Dillon started to just sort of come up the corner a little bit and wanted to just sort of put some emphasis and have a look why. He's defending that bottom lane. Basically, if Roffey's going to get this run, if Roffey's going to get the overtake done, that's fine, but he just wants to keep the Sim Boys cars grouped up because these guys have worked. Remember, these guys have been racing with each other for seasons upon seasons. The Sim Boys are the oldest team, and they tend to group up very often on these tracks. They know each other. They know each other's driving. They know what they're like in a straight line. Have a look see Aaron Dillon, how he's not running down on the white line? That's to force Roffey to go he's got a momentum advantage, and he just says, yep, you can go the longest way around the track.
And that is 3 of the cars at the front are all, 4 of the cars at the front are all Sim Boys with, I'm just trying to catch who that last one is. It's just further back there. Looks like Christopher Finlay is not far off making it on all 5 at the front if he can get up there as well.
Yeah, it's Finlay.
You can see there Aaron Dillon just cutting the course as short as he can. These 4 cars are ready to make this race their own. But look who's popped up behind there. Mr. Raymond Yeager is here to ruin the party as always after his fail to qualify well. Up 30 positions into P5 ahead of Craig Roffey as Craig Roffey just gets past him ever so slightly on the timing board, but holding that bottom line will help him coming out of this onto this straight. Whew, lots of stuff happening here, Scott. There is a big gap in the field though as I look back there. I think they're happy with that still, but would you be happy in that position?
Look, right now, I'm not happy anywhere. I'm really nervous. This is the phase of the race. I actually hate race starts. Absolutely hate them. I'm not comfortable. I'm sort of trying to get a read of where I am, where I'm learning. I'm trying to move around. What I tend to do in these sorts of phases of a race is I'll spend 5 laps running in the high lane of the track, have a listen to what the tyres are doing, have a listen to what the car's doing, have a listen to the steering input, what I've got to do with the car to make it run that high lane in a draft back. I'll switch down to the lower line. I'll feel what the car's doing. If I can feel those tyres wearing, I'll do it only for about 3 laps and then go, yeah, look, I'm not comfortable down there. So it's in this early phase of a race, I'm generally searching around. I want to find out where the grip is, where the pace is, because if you keep an eye on that right-hand side right now, there's a lot of marbles up against that wall.
Yeah, there is. And even this little pack here, like they've left Justin Witcher behind. Justin Witcher's happy just being where he is right now. These 4 are sort of wanting to get back up on the pack by the look of it, or maybe they're just happy to hang in the middle, but there's a definite gap there. There's a 1.3, 1.4 second gap there between 19th and 18th. And even then, it's almost a second between Witcher and Jamie Nankervis there as well. But Stevie Hall, car's looking great tonight. I think I fixed a lot of my problems with the stuttering and stuff. We killed Razor on my computer. All the Razor software's gone. So it's not killing iRacing right now, but it's looking very, very nice tonight. I'm glad it's all back normal.
Well, good news, Wilco. You're no longer on the razor's edge.
Yes, that's it. No longer on the... Oh, my God. And that is it for tonight. Thank you, everyone. We'll be back. Oh, who's that Pinnacle car going backwards?
Somebody's just bailing out of the throttle. It's Greg Spencer, actually. He's a lap down, so just ignore him.
And Barry Neal's going a lap down as well now, so that'll be interesting as well. Barry more than a lap down. He's just not got the pace with that damage to the car, I assume.
Doing a great job, though. This is, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever find yourself racing and you're in a situation like this where you know that you just need to log laps, and you know that quitting out of the server means that you're potentially going to lose spots to all the guys that are going to pull out halfway through. Barry is trying to construct a championship here. It's so critical for him. He's had pace, and something's gone wrong, and he could leave. He could get all of his Sunday night back, but he's out here because he wants championship points. Greg Spencer's the same. He's here for a Pinnacle Esports Championship, though, is what I'm expecting from him. So, yeah, look, I mean, you know, it's about, look at the lines that these guys are running. They're hard up against the wall, and that's just showing good respect to their fellow race drivers.
Just quickly, I've gone back to Steve Hall because I noticed that gap between him and Dan in 19th is now under a second. They are bridging this gap, and I think that obviously helped by the slower cars getting a little bit of draft, but they are definitely cutting that gap down just a little bit as we see a new leader, but that's still a Sim Boys. But Raymond Yeager really trying to split this group up as he gets a bit of a run and wants to go 4 wide into the final corner. No.
Ray's just here for some points, and have a look at immediately. Maxfield just slots up the track, says, "I'll take that one away from you. No, thank you." And this is Ray just basically throwing. He's pinching the Sim Boys against each other at this point. He's basically saying to Maxfield, "If you want to take this away from me, you're going to have to burn up some of that precious tire. If you want to take that run somewhere, you've got to burn something off. You've got to take a compromise." And this is Ray just using his head.
Yep, there is 6 Sim Boys cars there in that pack right now. It is chaos. I would not want to be either Roffy or Yeager right there. But they are the only ones. There is another one. 0-2 at the front. Darren McKenzie is the leader of the race, and the other car that's not quite in that pack. One that looks different to the rest. But Ray's got to the front, which is a nice little effort from him. Well done. Or not to the front, sorry, second. Him and Darren McKenzie as they come up on lap traffic yet again. We'll see if that makes any leeway in the thing. But just looking at that gap, Stephen Hall, it's down to 0.7. He's really bridging this gap, but will it hurt his tyres at some stage, Scotty?
Well, yes and no. So he's actually running in a really nice window in terms of track time at the moment, because he's just close enough to the pack ahead such that he's getting a draft, but he's not so close that he's just being fed really bad aeros. So ultimately, if he's smooth on the wheel, right now I saw him just get a little bit too aggressive with both the throttle and the wheel at the same time. That's that wiggle coming off the corner. He's just got to be very careful about what I sort of have a term for it, which I call over-inputting. And what I mean by that is I'm trying to do too much all at the same time. So over-inputting both throttle and steering wheel at the same time. You come out of one of the two of them, you're generally going to be okay.
You don't want to watch me race then, because that's all I do. That's my whole racing style. They are too wide from 1st through to 20th at the moment, basically. Oh, the front pack's not quite too wide. But at the back of this pack here, I think there's a few people happy where they are. Those...
Lap car once again.
Yes.
There's a lap car coming back through the pack, so this will be interesting. The leaders have just caught him.
There he is, 6-5-1. Marty Mitchell takes the wall with him as Wolf.
Oh.
You can see the effect of just a little bump on the wall made to that whole pack. That whole pack just wanted to get as far away from him as possible. As Stevie Hall gets past him, we're all good for the front half of the field. We're back to proper racing again. I quickly wanted to jump on to try to do the table before Sim Boys. 195. They've got a 59 point deficit between them and Pinnacle Esports at the moment. Obviously, this helps. If we finish the way we are now, that'll be a great help to them. But I can't see this being the end result for the race for some reason with 99 laps to go. Southern Stars Esports, who had a big pack going before at the front, but two of the guys have really popped to the back there and left Darren McKenzie on his own. But I think they look pretty happy in that back of that top 20 at the moment, sitting on 165 points, 30 back from Simboys. Skypoint Racing, 155. Obviously, Jay Schultz being out tonight, or not out tonight, but in the pits right now, is going to hurt that one. But we'll see how they go. Middle Split Racing's back a few points on them at 141. Momentum Sim Racing, 135. And then Team, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, Southern Cross Racing, and Code 9 Esports round out the team's championship right now.
I'm just curious when Steve Hall Racing is going to be showing up on that team's championship.
There's 3 cars out there. I don't even know what team they're racing for, to be honest. I need to find that out. Chat.
Let's just register the entire field under Steve Hall Racing. Steve Hall Racing wins the championship. Done.
There we go. The crowd would be very happy with that right now, as he's on the back there of Brett Campbell, who is up 24 positions, I assume. Let's go have a look at where people are running from where they started. Positions gained. Raymond Yeager up 33 positions. Max Field up to 18 positions in that top 3. Tomlin up 19 positions. Priest up 13 positions. There's some big movers tonight, but that's what happens in cookie cutter races where people just don't qualify, and they don't need to qualify. They just work their way through the pack. But let's also then look at the last lap speed. So they're all pretty much the 31s. There's Gretton's in the 32s there, and Mortensen, but they're fair way back down the pack there. I see if Barry Neal flicks himself up here, but the last lap for Barry Neal's a 33.65, so you see how much that damage really is hurting him now. But as you said, if you keep on lapping, he's only a lap down at the moment. He could get that lap back at any stage now. And if there's a big crash, he gets lots of points. As I think we get past Greg Spencer yet again. Oh, takes a hit. Takes a big hit. And I think he might have to pull out of this altogether in a sec.
Yep.
He's right down. Is it? Oh.
He's just holding the fence. He's in a compromised position. And if you actually have a look at what he did there, was he kept the car. He kept the right hand section of the wheel down, made sure that he was up against the fence. That is, and mind you, ladies and gentlemen, I'll go ahead and phrase this out by saying this is a series admin. This is what you expect. He's recognized my race is over. There's nothing I can do from here. I'm already 4 laps down. What he could do is he could try and get the car back into the groove, try and get the car back into the racing situation. It's just blind. And Aaron Bryan's just completely and utterly blind to him. There's no clue that he's even there. Aaron's got to run. Aaron's trying to go to the high side there and just get some clean air of the nose. No idea that he's there. It's racing. But at the same time, it takes utter race awareness to know that there is a huge pack of cars coming, and he keeps that car pinned to the fence. That is a great job by Greg Spencer.
Yeah,
He's made an absolute great job of a poor situation. Phenomenal driving.
Yeah, could have gone anywhere with that hit, especially the bouncing off the wall, and there was a lot of cars that he could have involved. It would have been our next caution, but yes, very well done.
From the first caution as well, I do actually want to I can't recall who it was, but the cars were basically going everywhere as a part of that first wreck. The drivers jumped on their brakes. Remember, we've talked over the last couple of weeks of this season, there's a couple different things you can do in a wreck. You can either jump on the gas, try and get through there, but ultimately it's everyone's responsibility to be as consistent as possible. The car that was coming back down the track stayed on the brakes, didn't grab the throttle so that they didn't start weaving back and forth all over the track. So again, the field and the driving has been extremely respectful. That's just cookie cutter. That's just pack racing. There's nothing more that anyone could have done tonight.
Yeah, that's it. We've got Emma Lee Parcell in Facebook chat as well, cheering on Aiden Schultz. I was trying to find out. He was one of those Southern Stars that's just sitting at the back of this sort of, it's now top sort of 18. You can see there right in the middle of that pack there, him and Adam Malone, is it? Just sitting there, nose to tail. They're just happy with where they're at. Aiden will be there at the front if he can be at the end. He's not worried about that right now, but as always, he's a big chance for tonight. As we see, Kim Roffey has joined this pack as well. for Middle Split Racing, coming up very well. Stevie Hall, like I said, he's just on the tail of it. He's just a little bit off it again now. He's dropped a second from Raymond
It's not
Yeager's at
too
the
bad.
back of this pack all of a sudden.
Ray's just gone. I've got my Ray. The only reason that Ray was up there to begin with was he needed a lap lead. He's just searching for bonus points. So yeah, look, I mean, he's done all he needs to do.
That's it. It's a big strategy game right now as we see Barry Neal again getting lapped. Is that going to be 90 is getting done as well? So that's Nigel Patton was involved in that first incident as well. Right at the end there, he's got damaged aero in particular. Tim Boys are controlling this pack. It'll be what happens, who save fuel. We're getting sort of, let's have a look here, the stint length. Remember, Darren McKenzie did not pit. He's done 46 laps right now, where everyone else has done 34. At some stage, Darren is going to have to come in if this stays green flag racing for much longer.
Yeah, so I mean, Darren took a risk, and it's not paying off. But let's talk about what's the benefit of the risk. Earlier on, he was weighted down in the pack. He was searching for a little bit of position. Things just weren't going his way. What he's done is he's just gone, look, I wasn't getting anywhere where I was. Let's just have a crack. There's no reason not to do something different. And you'll see a lot of that from D-Mac. Again, another very cluey driver. He knows when he can push. Sometimes he pushes that margin a little bit too far. Sometimes he just gets a little bit too aggressive. But I think we're all guilty of that as drivers. And a lot of respect for D-Mac.
I'm just interested, this group that Justin Witch is now leading as well, back in 22nd position. Whether they're fuel saving this whole pack, because
They were.
they're 4 seconds between them and Tristan Cock, who's then 2 seconds between him and Brett Campbell. This pack is going backwards, but obviously not enough to be a lap down. But yeah, fuel saving and tyre saving for the end. Justin Witcher leading the championship, winner of last week's race. Yeah, he's not a slow man, so he's definitely playing a nice little game here. Ruben Phelps behind him, as we know, he went in for that extra little bit of fuel. He stayed out that extra lap just to get himself back on the lap and catch up to the group, and then went in for fuel. So he's actually probably got an extra lap of fuel from a few of those boys out there as well, which is pretty handy.
Yeah, look.
Sorry.
To be perfectly honest, have a look at the way that things are starting to progress and things are starting to play out. Justin Witcher's strategy is working at this point.
Here he is.
Because
Hold on. D-Mac.
that
D-Mac's just had to go in the pits.
Yep.
Sorry.
So two things that were going on. I was just about to point out, D-Mac had just started to just push away from those guys really, really quickly. That said to me he was getting light on fuel. He was starting to really be able to rotate the car nicely and stay foot flat to the floor, pedal to the metal, get the hell out of there. It was his plan at that point in time. It was working really nicely for him. He pulled a little bit of a margin. If you're having a look at Justin Witcher, what's he doing really well for himself at this point in time? This second group, the chase pack, are all single filed out. Yeah, they're starting to lose a little bit of time. They've just picked themselves up a lapped car, so they will start going forwards again. But they are single filed out, whereas the lead pack isn't so, and they're all sort of spread and all chasing that free air. So if this continues to play out in the format that it's currently in, they will play themselves back into contention over time, and the fuel benefit may be perfect. So it just all matters. With 40-something cars trying to get the pit lane, we could be in for a bit of something. And there's actually one car that's slow on track, very slow on track.
Yeah, I've got Stephen Hall,
Steve
unfortunately.
Hall, no!
He is... Oh, do I go back and find out what's happened here? He's got no damage that I can see majorly to the car.
Is he out of fuel?
He has... Oh, I've got him at 40 laps, so he shouldn't be out of fuel. I'm just trying to see this side as the... No, that car looks impeccable condition.
Blown engine?
No,
I could hear the engine running.
That's bizarre. As we got another car coming to pits behind him as well. I really...
Sean Hart.
I really want to know what's happened here, because that's going slow for a long time. It would be a fuel if it's... Like, everything... The fuel makes sense, but he's 9 laps short of what really should be... Unless he came in and didn't fuel? Last
Maybe?
stop? What was his last stop? Doesn't say 9 seconds. Oh no, he's on the for 9 seconds right now. That's bizarre. See, Stephen Hart's just come in. He didn't stop in the first place. Sean Hart, sorry, as we said.
Well, Sean Hart, I think he missed the start. He actually went 2 laps down at the start of the race. So
Yes.
he would have probably gotten a 40-second stop and hold penalty that he had to serve under green flag racing conditions. The entire field's coming in, so I would say Steve ran out of fuel.
Yeah, but I suppose Darren McKenzie had the yellow. Oh, it's a caution. There is a caution.
Oh no! Oh no! D-Mac is going to be livid.
Because he's 2 laps down here. Can you give me an idea of Steve Hall's gone 3 laps down of what's happened here?
No clue. So Steve Hall will cross the line in front of a bunch of these cars, so he will pull themselves out. I didn't see it. I've got zero understanding what the reason for the caution is. So. Is this it? Surely not.
No. I'm just trying to find out when the actual caution happened.
Well, green flag there.
Yeah.
I've got some good news for you. Steve Hall's just grabbed himself a lap back, so.
Nice work. He was already in. Dane was already in the pits when it all went down. I think he's got a lot of damage on the side there. Oh, he did get sideways there, but that's not enough to bring out the caution. Oh, he did hit the wall there. Was that?
Surely that shouldn't have brought out the caution.
No. I don't have my spotter on this week, so I didn't realise the caution had even happened. He's at the back of the field, so maybe if I go to Blimp, Blimp might tell us, no, Blimp's not good enough. Trying to see up here if there's anything that happens. I can't see it. There's a car on the grass there, but he doesn't lose.
I think that was Dane. So.
Yeah, so here you go. I've got a car down. That's someone coming out of the pits, though. Oh, is it? Who's that?
Slow car on the backstretch. It could have been Steve, could it? No, because Steve was in the pit lane when the caution flew.
That'll be that car there. Whatever that car there is, has had something go on. It's just coming around now.
They've run out of fuel. That's what that says to me.
And that's...
Tell you what, Steve Hall's about to get 2 laps back. He got released in front of the safety car, so he got 1 lap back there. It's just what the timing was. His second lap he got back, he's going to get back from a wave by. So don't count Steve Hall out just yet.
Okay, so that car there.
Yeah, that's whoever that is, which is
the 651, 621.
I would like to remind everyone that the benefits of simulated racing are that we have these replays and you can watch us review them. I love this. Like, personally, everyone sits down and says, "Oh yeah, Scott," but it breaks the realism. I'm like, but this isn't real racing. This is something that's close, but we get to review a whole bunch of stuff. So this to me is actually one of the better things. So
let us know if we are going to go live. I reckon it's just because he's gone super slow. He's run out of fuel. Let's have a look. He's going fine.
No, the engine's blown. The engine's blown. Given the level of damage on his car, his engine's blown. Now we did have an incident of this exactly the same last week at Pocono, where somebody had an issue and their engine blew and they coasted around, and that triggered our green-white check-it. So this is something that drivers are going to do. Right now, what iRacing is looking for and what NASCAR would be looking for if we're actually racing this in real life is they'd be looking for proximity to the racing surface. And if there's a pack coming,
so
if he's clear and he gets all the way to the inside of the fence, before the pack arrives, no caution. But because there's a pack coming, and because he is very close to the racing surface, if he's down all the way on that backstretch on the far left cement, there's a heap of space down on the backstretch there that he could have gone and used, no caution. So that's unacceptable behavior to me. So We'll have to have a look at what that's my read on it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, that's definitely, I'll be sticking that driver standard stamp on it and saying, yeah, look, I'm unhappy with that. It's definitely something that needs to be investigated. It's a quirk of having a lot more cars in the league as well. So it's something that you'll probably see some sort of update come from the admin team here at Australasian Supercars eSeries probably this week, because we've had it 2 weeks in a row.
So Mace won the Steve Hall fan squad. Yes, he's got back to a lap down. Stevie Hoppett, do we have a man crush on Steve Hall? Yes, we do. 100%. That car looks amazing, Steve. And Jack Brooks, Go the Sim Boys, always fun to watch. Yes, they are. They're doing a really good job tonight. Look at that right there.
Let me just get down on one knee and get the ring ready for Steve Hall.
Why not? Interesting. So we've got 27th through to 32nd as they do jump. Very good jump there from the Sim Boys. We'll see if someone's going to jump in front of 16 there, Todd Maxfield, and make it 3. Ooh, no, he doesn't quite get it, Gary Woman. Let's go back to away from the chopper. But these Sim Boys are running away from it. The only problem is they've just got to not battle too hard, these guys at the front. We'll see how they go. As Adam Malone, they're just almost taking the tail of what looked like Todd Maxwell there. But these guys are spread out back in the pack as well. This little pack that's, here we go, forming at the back is nice and happy to go 2 wide, 3 wide as they come around here. But yeah, look, it's just interesting racing tonight. That caution helped so many people. Did not help Darren McKenzie, unfortunately. He is one of the people who lap down, but the good news is we're watching Darren. He's the leading car on a lap down, so if any other chaos happens in the next 94 laps, he's good.
There's a few cars I'm actually looking at that 1 lap down. So remember we had Sean Hart win a race earlier in the season as well. He's at 1 lap down. He had an issue at the start of the race where we actually remember, I think you served that penalty that we were talking about before. Got back to 1 lap down with the first caution and the lucky dog. Well, now he's still at that 1 lap down marker because we had so many cars messed up under pitting. So
yeah,
Sean's got a mountain to climb as well, but he is starting to assault that mountain.
Yeah, and Barry Neal is only down 2 laps, but he's in 33rd position, so he's beating 10 cars home right now. The story of persistence, even though his car is clearly not running as fast as it should be. Although he's just made a pass on. Have we got Steve Hall back in the pits again? We have.
Yes. So what happened there was that I was keeping an eye on Steve towards the tail end of the pack. He was trying to, so he's gotten a stop and hold penalty. The reason he's picked that one up is what we call passing under yellow, basically not being in the right position within the gridding order when that green flag flew. So he was letting some cars go late.
Yeah. So that's an unfortunate for him, but as we said, Barry Neal, Steve's down 2 laps down. Barry Neal's jumped up to the leading car 2 laps down. So he's got another position, 31st out of 43 at the moment. He's just taken over Dan, who's currently still in the pits as well. Dane, sorry, that's currently still in the pits. But I wanted to show out before, the man we're talking about before is on screen right now, is taking the very, very extreme low line. Justin Witcher, our championship leader, he's going to push himself back up to the front now. He said he was just running around before. I think he's got fairly good tyres. I don't know. What would they have taken their set of tyres this stop, or they're going to hang it out till one final caution? Because you can't go the rest of the lap without stopping. What would you do, Scotty?
The problem is you'd have to go about, it's about 78 laps to get home. So they pitted on lap 56, so 64. So it's actually 88 laps, I think it was, to actually make it home from where they were. So that's not good enough. That's just too far on those tyres. I'd be hanging on to them. I'd be looking to come down. At this point in time, I'd go, right, these tyres are now, I can push them. I should have been conserving them. I should have been looking after them. If you're in the mode whereby you've now burned off your tyres, I don't think you've got much of a choice. I think you've still got to hang out just because the race is going to continue to develop. And we've already seen that stopping early is actually, it's just too much of a risk. So it's pretty much going to be locked into a strategy from here on out.
Yeah, definitely. As we see now, Pinnacle taking 2 of the top 3 spots with Roffey in the middle split racing. Just the only person breaking that 1-2 up for those guys. It's great team racing tonight. As we see, Who's that? That's Ruben Phelps has made his way up. He's been on the tail of Witcher the whole night as well, doing pretty much the same strategy as Witcher, and he is now up in that top pack. Sim Boys do not have the dominance they had before the caution, so this is starting to get really interesting. Aiden Schultz is running back there as well, just in that middle pack with the other Roffy, and Skypoint behind him. So many teams. It's such a good thing to see tonight. We're just going to jump back a little bit further. We're going to go to this point. Troy Matson, no, Brad Fenley, just on the back of this pack. He's happy to, we usually see Brad with a fair bit of speed. Right now, 67 laps into the race, he's not far. He's only 2.7 seconds off the lead, but he's just at the back here as well, doing what we're talking about before, conserving tyres, conserving fuel. He can jump people in the pits. He can have a fresh set of tyres if anything goes wrong. He's up 19 position though. You can see his strategy from the start was to just do laps until he's needed to do. You don't want to be up fighting for this race until about 10-15 to go. So getting hot here, Scotty. Nose to tail action all the way through the field. What's going to happen?
A motor race. I don't know if you heard Toto Wolff have a conversation with Michael Massey at the end of the 2021 Formula One season, but I think that statement still stands. We went car racing.
I don't know if it's car racing at the moment. It is. It's very good car racing, and I'm enjoying it as we're looking out the back of Christopher Tomlin's car. You can
That's
see...
a really good shot. Actually, have a look at what Ruben Phelps will do, because you saw him. What he did was he backed up. He got out of the throttle a little bit earlier, tried to rotate the car nice and early and get back to the throttle, and then he drifted back up and around to the outside of Tomlinson. So keep your eyes, have a look. See, up high early, sweeps down in the middle of the corner, really trying to open the corner up. What he's trying to do is conserve a little bit of tyres, widen the corner up as much as he possibly can, get back to that gas. The other thing is he's running in the high lane. There's a lot of cars running in that high lane. That means he's got the most amount of draft available to him.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, Chris he just wants to hold the same line, which is fair enough. That's where he wants to be, and
he's happy there.
We'll have a look in front. He's just looking right behind. He's even a lot lower than Roffy going into the corners, isn't he? He just doesn't want to get up high. He's happy where he is, which is fine. That's good racing.
No, he's doing the right thing. So what he's doing is, again, this is the benefit of this racing is it's actually kind of a cross between stock car racing and IndyCar racing. So you get a little bit of a mix here. He's getting access of that fresh air to the splitter. He doesn't want to follow Roffy through the corners. Why? That means the front end of the car has got less downforce. He's just not getting good, clean flowing air over all the aerodynamical structures in the format that those structures need the air to flow to generate perfect downforce. You get half a car width outside that car, all of a sudden, you've got most of your downforce back. The car operates as normal.
It's fascinating to watch. I love this V8s on ovals. Who would have thought it would be such an exciting thing to do? And who would have thought you'd be talking about them like Indy cars? But you see there, Roffy getting very high, sitting right alongside the Sim Boys car, giving him nowhere to go, making sure that he's getting side draft and he's able to keep that momentum going.
Mate, at this rate, if we're going to be able to talk about these things like Indy cars, I think we should see if we can get Marcus Ericsson on the line and get him in one of these things on Sunday night.
Why not? Why not? You can see there the 41
Formula One driver, IndyCar, Indy 500 winner.
Bit of everything.
Yeah. We'll see if he can win this stuff. Let's see if he can take it to these boys.
I don't know. Cade Donnelly is. What do you do if you're Cade Donnelly right there, Scotty? You are in between.
Patience.
Patience.
It's not yet. Go time is not quite yet. You need to be here. You need to keep your momentum up. You need to be searching. You need to be quick. He's got to be patient. He's got to make sure he clears Roffy. If he wants to get aggressive, that was the first marker. He had to clear Roffy before he could start to come down to this low line. Now have a look. So now that he's got clear of Roffy...
Oh, there we go.
And
that is
side draft. That is side draft.
And that is no caution.
Yep.
Wow, that's great driving from everyone involved, to be honest. I want to quickly go back and have a look at that since there's no caution. We'll just hang on this just for a moment. You can see here that how close they were getting to each other. Ruben just is a little bit of net code, but they definitely hit each other pretty hard.
So there's about 3 different things that happened there that caused that accident. Number one, Roffy was starting to get really tight. His right front tyre was just starting to get away from him on that run. So he was starting to drift a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher. Remember we talked those last couple of laps through about how Ruben Phelps was looking to take that over-under in the mid-corner line and come down a little bit, get back to that throttle earlier and build that momentum off the corner. So there's two different strategies of cornering right there. Then you've got a little bit of side draft. If you've ever seen, I think there's a TCR video that went around of two TCRs racing each other on the last lap of a Nürburgring race, and they're going for the win. They're going at each other down the Dottinger Her. And this isn't a straight line. You see these two cars chase each other across the track. Why? Side draft. And they bang into each other a whole bunch of times. There's pockets of air that basically form that's still air in between the cars, which sucks the cars together sometimes. Then, from there, slight contact to the right rear corner of Craig Roffey. Basically, his car is now pointing at a slight angle towards the wall and it's being unloaded in that direction. At that point, it's all over.
Yeah. Which is a shame. We've just seen Craig go into the pits, so he has gone a lap down. Steve Hallwatch, he's out of the race, no longer with us in the server. What it's done is it's moved Darren McKenzie up to 25th now, first car on a lap down, which is, he's praying for that. He would have been praying for that to be a caution, get his lap back so he can start racing properly again. But he, no matter what's going on, he finds himself surrounded by Sim Boys cars, no matter where he is on the track, which is quite interesting. But Sean Hunt, as you see, one lap down as well, doing a great job, but can't quite catch Darren to get back to the lead for the lap. But the race, we have Witcher and Jaeger controlling this race now, with Cade Donnelly surviving what happened around him to be sitting there in third. Christopher Tomlin, who we're on board with, is now sort of happy just to sit back, and he's got all the room in the world. Brad Fenley, as I was saying before, he's just off the back of this pack, so he's sitting in 19th. You can see just ahead from him is the pack, which is now split in two. You can, or almost three actually. You've got the guys out in front as they come up.
Mate, it is just, where do the packs start and stop at this point? If you're actually having a look at a track map, there's just sort of mini gaps between a whole bunch of these cars. All the cars are just sort of broken up. What's happening is the lead car is slowly sucking one car up behind him. At the same time, all the other cars, it'll slowly get condensed from the front backwards as that group of cars comes back together. But we're also dealing with a moment in time where the tires are starting to go away from these guys. So now you're starting to get pace spread throughout the field as well. So whilst the field should be gumming itself back up, it's actually doing the opposite. It's you're getting accordion and sort of clumping instead of massive pack sort of sucking up and somebody getting their slinky ready to tip down some stairs.
Yeah, so currently what we have is those top four, Witcher, Jaeger, Donnelly, and Tomlin is currently the number one pack. Wellman through to Tom Pritchard has then got a 2-second gap to make up to get to that lead. As we're seeing, Aaron Dillon's going slow on track, I believe it is. He's into the pits, that's why.
He's out of tyre, so he's coming early. He's recognizing that the reason that Dylan's now committing to this strategy is the field is actually really split up. So when I was talking about before, I wouldn't be liking coming down early and looking to pit early on any of these. The main reason was too many cars all clumped together. You're going to get a caution at some point. That's now broken up. There's no issues. So I'm actually happy with this strategy now.
Hayden Schultz is coming in as well, as we see a bit of smoke in the background behind him. That's Aaron Dillon and Aiden Schultz coming in to get fresh rubber. We've also got Ruben Phelps is in here as well in the pits. Obviously, he had a bit of damage though, so he's got a bit of repairs to do. But Aiden Schultz is coming in. He took a very long time to come into the pits. His lap time.
He's going to lose a lot of time, yeah. So he actually... What you generally do at a lot of these tracks is that you're trying to come to the pit lane off of 3 and 4, so you can carry, whilst if you're up on the banking, you can carry more momentum. It's actually a lot easier, but the problem is when you want to come into pit lane and you need to stop the car, you actually want to be off the banking because the cars don't pull up as cleanly on the banking. It helps you carry more momentum, but when you're trying to stop to get down to pit lane speed, that sort of doesn't help. So he's come down early and aggressively. The other thing for Aiden is that it means that he's not trying to slow down directly in front of a pack, which means he'll probably get rear-ended. So again, it's another driver respect thing.
Yeah, can I quickly show you something? This is what we're talking about. We're going to go to the blip. You can see how spread out this field is right now. There is pretty much not a part of the track right now that hasn't got cars racing on it. and there is no big clumps at the moment. It is crazy. So let's just go into the starter cam. Let's have a look at a lap from starter cam. It's
This is
just
P123. No, sorry, that's
this is
that's
P123 in here. Oh, in the background there.
Oh, big moment, big moment. Hang
Who
on
is
to
it?
it, son.
It's Christopher Finlay, of all people.
He'll be into the pits this lap for sure. He's lost a lot of momentum, so I'll be coming down. So he might have had a tyre go down on him, actually.
Very well could have. He's definitely taken some wall there. You can see down that right-hand side. There goes the idea of watching the field go past. As he gets back up on the line for a little bit on the back straight here. Coming into 3-4
He'll
though.
come. He's coming into pit. Yeah. Surely. When you're down that much momentum, you're already losing. So this is a racing strategy for everyone. Yeah, he stayed down. So why I would be telling Chris Finlayson to pit there is we're now inside the pit window. If Aaron Dillon's coming to the pit lane, that says to me the pit window is now open. In Finlay's, he's already lost speed. He's already lost a lot of momentum. He's already going to be losing time. So instead of trying to force the car back up to speed, come down pit lane, grab that extra fresh set of tyres, go again. You might actually close down a lot of that margin. You won't lose as much overall time.
Just out of interest, this is previous lap top. That's not what it should be. Anyway, let's go back to that one. His last lap was a 37-second lap, so that was 6 seconds slower than what a normal lap would be. So they're talking about time. That's exactly where it was. Exactly what you're talking about. Let's have a look at your starter cam. That's the top 3, and then there's this pack, and then there's more cars, and then it just keeps on coming through. This is as spread out
Brett
as
Campbell's
I've seen it
gone to
over.
pit lane.
There we go. Brett Campbell is in. Hayden Schultz is still in the pit.
Keep your eyes on Alan Dillon. So that says to me that Schultz has had an issue and he's had to come and get something repaired. But Dillon is going hammer and tong. He's got the foot to the floor. He's doing as much as he can. Somebody recognizes that we're watching them from the starter cam and just flashes lights at us. So whoever that is, stop watching the stream. Focus on driving, damn it.
Focus on your driving. Come on, people. Yeah, so it's it. Like, we're talking Darren McKenzie, 1 lap down now, 22nd position. Barry Neal, who we talked about before, I've got him down at 34th, so he's out of the race. He's in the pit, 17 laps down.
So something else I've just realised having a look at Aaron Dillon's pit lane strategy is if he's got fresh tyres, he's going to be faster. Whilst ever the field is clumped up, you have to be tailing onto the back end of that field to actually get drafting advantage. If you aren't on the tail end of that field, you're actually losing time at pitting. When he's actually pit with the track sort of filled in, that means he's always getting draft. So not only is he A, faster, but B, he's cut down a lot of the losses and risk that would come from pitting early. Yes,
it's going to be interesting. He's back out there with rubber. Let's see what he can do. Last up was a 31-1. Compared to a 31-4 up front for Justin Butcher.
And he's just picked off Barry Neal, and now there's another car in front of him. This is Marty Mitchell. He's actually a lap down. That's fine. Marty's got a pretty clean car. It doesn't matter if the car's clean or not. It still offers draft. Up next ahead of him is Peter Gretton. Peter Gretton's actually coming to pit lane this time by. Had to bail out on it because Dillon got the nose down there. Gretton might have actually had a moment. Now he'll swing around to the high side of him. Again, just momentum. He's just constantly picking off momentum, 1 car at a time. Always has draft. Always is fast. That's the key factor.
Exactly. Sorry, I just wanted to jump around. We're seeing Donnelly coming into the pits as well. It's all happening here. What I've got up here on the timing tower is current laps since the last stop there. You can see as we feed through the pit stop times. And this is where if you've got fuel, if you've saved fuel, or you topped up just a little bit more than anyone else, this is where this helps a lot. You can see
the other crucial factor for Aaron Dillon, he pitted early, his pit stops will be shorter. If this cycle's completely through, Dillon will be a race leader.
Let's keep an eye on that as we go back to Aaron Dillon. We are trying to keep an eye on it as he does speed further up the field. He is 25th. He is 2 laps down. Interesting though, Dane Pierce, Kristen Cock, they've both served 3 pit stops, same as Aaron Dillon, but I don't think they're on strategy.
Troy Davison's just pit. So now we've got Justin Witcher, Kim Roffey, and P4, the 587. So there's about 5 or 6 cars that are yet to pit. Most of the field has now finished their last stops.
It's interesting here because I've got
the most recent.
Kate Donnelly and Adam Malone have done 25-second stops compared to Aaron Dillon's 51-second stop, which has put them out only a lap down.
Oh no! Dylan sped on pit lane entry.
There you go. That's what it is. I'm looking at it going, he's far further down than he should be.
Yeah, I just noticed that with all the pit lane cycles that was going on, and that he wasn't as far up as he should be. Because theoretically, he should be on the gun strategy, but that pit lane penalty, that's cost him.
Definitely has. We can see there, everyone bar the top 6 are a lap down, but everyone bar the top 6 is currently pitted for the end, as we see Troy Davison is just coming out of the pit lane, but he's behind Raymond Yeager and those kind of cars, which is theoretically our lead pack. Now, Sean Hart, 1 lap down. He needs to stop though, but he is currently ahead. He's in the top 10. He really needs a caution right now with only 37 laps to go in this race, which has come along so quickly. But Justin Witcher out in front. How long can he make this tank last? He's been out there for 42 laps right now. Going around yet again as this pack with Sky Point Racing just leading the way. I have got time differentials between him and the group behind, but he's doing a 31.4 versus Kay Donnelly's 31.2, so there's not a huge amount of difference, but 2/10 on a oval, Scotty, it's like a mile, isn't it?
2/10 is a lot. 2/10 is a lot of time on an oval. For Witcher as well, he's got a lot of fuel to add here compared to everyone else. Everyone else is short pit. It depends. There's a few things that are potentially going on here. So this race is going to be really jumbled up. You're going to see the mixed strategies. For those of you who don't know, static time, it depends what these drivers are going to do. If Justin Witcher comes down and fills the tank, he's going to be sat there for a very long time. Because when you think about it, when the other guys came to pit lane, there was still fuel in the tank. When they fill the car up, the distance going from, say, 30 litres to 90 litres is only 60 litres. If you're going from 0 litres to 90 litres, that's an extra 30 litres that you've got to fill. That's extra time that's static on pit lane. But you get that back because you've filled your tank that extra much. You don't have to make that extra splash of fuel to get to the end of the race.
Yeah, to fill now, he'd only need to fill 75% of the tank right now, is what he's pushing at. Darren McKenzie is in as well, but he is a lap down, remember? But Justin Witcher, remember all that fuel saving he did at the start? How he was just going slower than everyone else, was happy to get that gap going? This is why he's on a 45 lap. We saw someone go 49. That's as much as we've seen tonight. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Fascinating stuff. I love it, Scotty. Top 6 are holding on 43 and 45 and 48 lap stints right now. So that means Sean Hart is about to come in. He has to come in very, very soon. He will start running out of fuel.
And for those guys at home, if you've ever felt a sense of excitement when you're coming down to the final hour of a Bathurst 1000, Lowndes has still got a pit, Wincup's still got a pit, Davison's got a pit, Johnson's got a pit, all of these sorts of things. He's going to get another 5 laps. We spent all day. Larko's been in the box doing the numbers. He's been looking at tyres and those sorts of things. Oval racing is all of that all of the time, basically. It's an extra layer of excitement. That's why I love it, because to be perfectly honest, this is high-speed chess. If you've ever seen speed chess played, this is faster.
Yeah, and the other thing with this is here's Witcher coming in the pits. I want to stay with him now. I want to see where he comes out. I want to see the length of his pit stop. However, what I was going to say is he's going to have 7 or 8 lap fresher tyres right at the end as well. Don't forget. So
won't matter. That amount of tyres does not matter. Yeah. So the tyres are basically even from about once you're about 5 to 10% into the tyre, they're pretty much even from there on to about 60% of the tyre. Then the tyre starts to fall off again. So he gets a couple laps where he's going to be quicker, but he's going to have to catch up that margin that the other guys have already got out of their tyres.
That's a 24-second stop, 25.3 second on pit lane. As he comes out, let's go to Raymond Yeager, his teammate, and see where he is at on the track at the moment. He is coming around.
He's going to rejoin about whether he might actually come out ahead of them.
Let's go to Witcher. Yeah, he's only just going past pit entry now, and Witch is just going out pit exit. Ooh, it's going to be tight. He's got to get up to momentum really quickly. Let's go to Jaeger as Jaeger comes around. Cade Donnelly hot on his rear. And
Now remember,
he's just
as
lost
Witcher
out.
joins the racing surface here, he's going to be at the tail end of this draft pack. That's perfect. He's happy. He knows that he is good on fuel compared to the rest of these guys. They may have to save a splash. Witcher is the only car we can sit down and go, he is spot on in terms of fuel. He's got better tyres than these guys. He's in a nice little window. It's not going to be a huge margin, but he will be faster than the rest of these guys, I'd imagine.
This is Brad Finlay's one of the last ones out there. He's done a 50 lap stint. He has to be coming in now, unless we did see him at the back of the...
He's not done 50 yet. Not quite yet. He's got 3 or so laps to go.
I've got him on a 50 lap stint right now. But anyway, Kim Roffey, the leader, is in the pit lane.
You're right, he is.
But I was talking about Brad before. He's got pace. You don't count him out, and he was saving fuel at the back there a hell of a lot. We just got to see what happens here, because remember, these guys all fill up. We've got 30 laps to go. Dare I say caution? It won't matter, all this stuff. As long as they're all in the lead lap, it will not matter. Although currently there's only 3 cars on the lead lap.
Oh! Somebody just rejoined just behind these guys. Oh, that was close.
Now this is hard for Brad. He's on the outside here. He's
just got to slot in. He's doing a great job. He's perfectly. He's exactly where he wants to be. The only concern I have for Brad is with the numbers that he's running and the speed that he's trying to carry, he may have taken his tyres already, so he'll be risking it for the biscuit at the tail end of this race. But if that's the case, he's only going to come down for a splash and a splash only. And this could be the winner.
Staying out again. This man,
he's doing a great job.
Fuel conservation.
Oh, he's coming. He's coming this time. He's just said on the radio he's coming this time.
Okay, so that'll be 53 laps he does. That is the extent that we can do on these things. As Justin Witcher gets to the head of this pack, he's currently now tentatively leader of the race. We will see everyone down to Alan Gill is he's on the lead lap. It'd be interesting to see what happens when Brad finally comes down. It might pop a few more people up. But we've really got a race in sort of 16 at the moment. And we talked about it many times before, the quality of this field, the race driving standards. We might go green to the end here, which is fabulous for this race. I want to see what happens with this strategy all playing out. As we see Brad coming out of the pits, he had a 29-second stop, which is longer than I thought. Way longer than I thought. 29 seconds on the box. I don't know what's happened there. Whether his tyres could be the only thing I could think of, but I would have thought tyres were quicker than that. But anyway, he's I thought he would have only had to put about half a tank in. But as he comes out, he
may have missed it. Yeah. So I would say what's happened to Brad is he hasn't recognized the small amount of fuel he's actually had to add to the car, and he's just overloaded it. So that's a lot of time. Then it's really slow, unfortunately, sitting there watching your fuel number tick over. So he may have missed it. I would say that's exactly what's happened.
Just having a look there, Aaron Dillon just in the background. He is the first car a lap down, currently in 17th position. Wow. However, if he's involved in the caution that brings the caution out, he does not get the lucky dog. So that was very close between him and Aiden Schultz there. Very good to see.
Bit of history between those two by the look of things.
Pretty history between Aiden Schultz and a lot of people, I think.
I was going to go the opposite direction. A bit of history between Aaron Dillon and a lot of people.
We were talking about last week how hard Aiden drives, and he doesn't leave anything left on the table. Aaron Dillon's pretty similar as well. Which is fine. Look at this Pinnacle Esports. We talked about the Sim Boys dominating at the start. However, Pinnacle here at the right end of the race with 23 to go, just doing what they got to do. One's up 33 spots, one's up 38 spots. These guys have a good little gap now between them and Cade Donnelly backwards is just on a second. But it's actually 5 seconds when you go back to the next in line, fourth. So our podium's a good almost 6 seconds ahead. of this pack here, which is trying to hunt them down with no success right now. Although, yeah, no, it's not really moving at all. This top three is our top three unless something happens in the race. God forbid. As we see,
You've done it now.
we talk about Barry Neal's up 32nd, as you said, 17 laps down, but still going on. Actually in a battle with Ed Bacon as well. Both of them are on laps 17 down, and also Dane as well. So he might be able to get a position by the end of it, but unfortunate his little incident that he had earlier in the race. As Cade just opened up to half a second here, but that's fine. Do you reckon Cade's got enough fuel?
I don't think fuel's the concern for Cade. I think he might have cooked the tyres. Is my concern for him. Yeah.
Okay.
Although that said, Cade's normally better than that, so you might be right on the fuel. It'll be one or the other.
Just wonder if he's coasting a little bit, but yeah, I think there's a lot of cars out there.
You know, actually, I take that back. This is strategical from Cade. What he's actually trying to do is he's trying to get Aaron to come up with him. So what he'll want to get Aaron, you want to get Aaron in the mix. Now, Aaron's actually not racing these guys for position, but if he gets Aaron Dillon in here and he can work together with him, all of a sudden it's actually 2v2 up at the top, even though there's 3 cars racing for position.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, as he's got now 2 cars between him and those leaders, but that doesn't really matter because that's what he wants. He wants that ability to be able to leapfrog with a bit of draft to get back up to them anyway. He's also got young Aiden Schultz back there, I think, helping him do exactly what you're talking about, getting Aaron Dillon up there. Aiden's going to bring him along for the ride as well. As the number 3 there gets very, very taily. Coming out of that corner, gets a little nervous. Troy Mortensen around the cars that are around him at the moment.
That looks like Troy's taken tyres at that earlier caution about that lap 56 stop. So unfortunately for Troy, this is exactly what I was talking about. It's just a little bit too far to push the tyres. If you're going to push the tyres too far, you generally want to do it in the opening stanza of the race or the first set of tyres. And the reason you want that to happen is because you generally are going to get a caution in the second half of the race, which is going to condense the field back together. So if you overcook your tyres and that you sort of run your tyres along early, you are giving up time early in the race, or it won't be in the earlier parts of the race, it'll actually be in the middle of the race, but it tends to play itself back too. So this is one of the things that we talk about in terms of saving and why you would save and why you would run particularly for things. The way that if you actually have a look at Justin Witcher and Raymond Yeager put their races together tonight, they've sort of early on within a run, they've been a little bit cautious, a little bit passive. 10 laps go by, then they start pushing themselves forward. Or up until that point, they'll still pick up 1-2 guys, here, there, and then all of a sudden they'll just grab about 10 spots really quickly.
I'm going to give you a little spanner in the works, I think, for this little plan that Cade Donnelly's got. I think Aaron Dillon's got to stop again.
I think he does as well. But his job is to get up here, and if he's got the lightest car of the lot, then go for it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I just saw he's 35.
Oh, yellow! Here we go!
Here we go. What's happened? I've got Ed Bacon going rather slow.
Yeah.
That's a pit stop.
Nick Leon Sinus. And he has blown a motor, so it's Nick Leon Sinus.
There it is. Okay. Oh, he's had a big hit, actually. Who is that? That's Hart involved? That's a middle split racing involved?
That's Sean. Yeah, that's Sean Hart, so... That'll be probably Kim Ruffy. Might be correct. Oh!
Just got the rear of him. And...
So Nick needs to... Nick sort of... I've just heard a few comments from Nick on the radio. He's just sort of, oh, why are you doing that to me, mate? What's going on there? Nick will need to have another look at that one. It's quite common. So generally you talk about red mist or drivers reacting quite often. And you hear a lot of that. If you've ever heard sort of radio recaps of any racing in real life, you hear a lot of guys, oh, he's a bit of a muppet. He drove that one a little bit deep. But you'll hear both drivers making that case whenever they're involved in an incident.
And that's
the one that I'm actually really upset with Nick about, because I think he's actually released the brakes slightly. Yes, he should have been. Look at how slow the car is here. He should have been able to pull it up here.
I'm just trying to get who that car is in the background. That is our 830. We've just heard comments. That's Christopher Tomlin, who was going really well as well. Let's have a look.
That is Christopher Tomlin.
Let's have a look from the in-car cam.
And that is a messed up front end on that car.
Let's just go at full speed. So he's spinning, he's come down. Okay, he's got to hold the brakes. No, he doesn't. And you can see already he's hard right there on the steering wheel. I know he's turning, hard left, but he's going pretty much straight now, and that's, oh no, it's not too bad. Not as bad as I first thought. But yeah, that hit hard, unfortunately. That's a problem. That'll be a penalty points, I'd assume.
That's, no, Tomlinson's engine's going to be done.
Yep. So that brings the race back into it.
So
who's got the lucky dog there?
Dylan, actually. Aaron Dylan is just behind the race leaders. So
he's going to have to stop and get fuel now.
Yeah, but the benefit is the lucky dog, as opposed to there's two ways to get a lap back in oval racing. There's what's known as the lucky dog. It's a NASCAR specific rule. IndyCar does not run with the lucky dog rule, and it's basically all the cars that are one lap or more down, the lead car out of those guys will get their lap back. It actually creates a lot of competition. If you're the first car a lap down, or you've got 5 cars that are all at the 1 lap down position, it actually puts a race on for these guys, and it sort of keeps them involved, keeps them engaged, keeps the fans engaged, which is why what NASCAR is actually all about. It's all about their fan engagement and keeping their favorite drivers sort of in the mix. So that's what generated the rule. Has to be the first car 1 or more laps down. Did not get involved in the incident. They are able to get their lap back before the pit lane will close under the caution, and that means they can actually come back down and get their splash of fuel or a set of tires or anything. Okay. The other way to get your lap back is the leaders all pit, and then you're stuck between the lead car and the safety car, and what will happen is the last lap before we go green, just as we come to the start finish line, all the cars are between the pace car and the leader will get released, which is known as a wave around, and that's the other way to get your lap back.
There we go. Aaron Dillon is out on the lead lap, 17 seconds down, but he'll get all that back, and he's fueled to the end. The interesting thing, I was going to say it before, the old green white checker, has those people got enough fuel who bargained on it going full length? But I promised you some Stevie Hall watch, some information on what happened there. He's in our Facebook chat right now. Says, I tried to serve my incident penalties, black flag twice, didn't clear them. Not sure why, disqualified, unfortunately.
Okay.
So that answers the question of why Stevie Hall's down there in 40th place, 61 laps down, and no longer racing tonight, unfortunately. Sorry, mate. Not good to hear, but we have a race on our hands, Scotty. We have a huge race on our hands. Massive implications for the championship. We have the championship leader and the championship defender, 1 and 2 right now, ready to go. We've got Sim Boys for miles behind, and then some Skypoint Racing as well. These guys are all looking to bank some points as we go into the week's break next week, before we come back for racing in 2 weeks' time. But this is an important one. You do want to be leading going into the break because it's just psychology then. But Witcher will be ready to go. Ready to take these guys racing. Let's have a look what's the best angle. Let's get these guys are going to be obviously working together. They'll get the best jump in the world. Where do you want to be right now besides these two, Scotty?
I want to be in P3 or P4. I actually think on this restart, the guys that are in the strongest spot should be actually Cade Donnelly, potentially Gary Wellman. Gary Wellman's got a really, really good cookie cutter oval head on his hands, and you'll see him win a lot. Very, very strong in Indianapolis, in particular, as Gary Wellman. So, and he runs a very good race at Chicago Lab, just Gary. So this will suit him. I actually put my money on him out of this lot.
Witcher has got down to a great start. Will Raymond slot him behind? No, Witcher's going to go slot up in front of him. And we're going to see Cade Donnelly taking this line down low as they swap positions, the Pinnacle Esports, which is good for their momentum, good for their tyres. That is Troy Davison, last week's podium getter, coming up behind with Gary Wellman. As you talked about, good cookie cutter form is in there, ready to go. These Sim boys and these Pinnacle boys are right at it. They'll be battling to the end with 11 laps to go.
Look at the momentum. Look at the momentum on Wellman. and have a look at Raymond Yeager. His tyres are struggling. Which has got the freshest tyres of this lot, so he can lead and he can control this race from out in front. These other guys are going to be struggling in behind him.
We go on board with Justin Witcher again. The look from the rear of his car as Troy Davison tries to find some way of getting through. There is 10 laps to go. These boys need to be making this happen as Witcher just gets a bit high there and almost gives them a sniff. These boys, it's battling.
We'll have a go. Everything's thinking about it.
Something's going to happen here. We'll be 4 wide within a lap or 2 here. I guarantee you. We can see behind there the pack's hanging on pretty well. Just interested to see Aaron Dillon has moved up a couple of spots to 14th at the moment, but not making a huge charge. Tom Pritchard and Todd Maxwell just going side by side, but they're fine. But it's all to watch at the front here. Can Troy Davison get down the inside? You can see that Gary Wellman, as you talked about, has put himself
He's not going to follow him.
No, but he's put himself in a really good spot here. He can break this pack up. He's going to go down. Oh, wow.
That was a late block from Raymond Yeager. So Raymond Yeager's, this is really difficult. Wellman will be a little bit frustrated with the way that Yeager's driving. So what Yeager is doing is he's opening up the bottom side of the track. There is half a car length there. There's enough room to show the nose. Yellow flag's out.
Yellow flag is out, and we have a car going slow, which is Matt Patton. And his car looks extremely worse for wear as we go back to an instant.
No, mate, she's all good.
She looks like a TCR car now, to be honest.
That'll pass retro.
He's already missing the bonnet as he comes up here to start-finish line. Tight in behind the 651 and just pushes the 651 down into the 15 and then gets hit hard. Hit hard from the 651 car. Let's have a look. I want to go on board with 651 there. Marty Mitchell.
So Marty's lifted off on the way into the corner there. He's struggling. He's not having a great night. And yeah, that's all she wrote. Just wasn't 100% sure of what was going to go on there. So it's tough. It's difficult. Nah, that's racing.
It is. The interesting thing here, 05, and then he just kicked right up. There's nothing that anyone can do at that point. I just want to stay with him. What's he do at the end here? He rolls down to, gets right out of the line. Lucky there's no cars coming. Yeah, gets into that infield grass and off we go. So that's the caution we needed to make this chaos a reality.
The critical factor here is that can you actually head down to say like a chase or a far chase style cam in those last moments for Marty Mitchell? And this is critical for our drivers. I'm not trying to sort of focus in on Marty Mitchell, but I'm sort of the goal here is just to give you fans, anyone that's actually watching, what you should and shouldn't do and why you shouldn't do it. And you've hit the point, nail on the head here, Wilco. It's if there's a pack coming, it's all over, right? He is going to be kicked like a complete nut of field goal and gets sent all the way up in the air. What I'm looking for is brake lights in this instance. And this is exactly what an administrator will be looking for as well. Are those brake lights on the whole time? If I see those brake lights blink, I'm issuing a penalty in 9 cases out of 10. In this case, probably not because there's no pack there, but I will always be issuing a penalty if those brake lights come off.
Those brake lights are there. The brake lights are on.
For now, wait.
This is not the point we're talking about, though. This is for him to get down to the bottom of the track. It has to come
He's done well. He's done well for here. All the way up to here. Great job. Yep, cool. I'm happy. And that's exactly how a race administrator wowould look at that.
Okay, it's just quickly here. I just want to have a look. But you can see down the track there. Not quite.
Look at that wall.
How good's the wall?
There's a mark on the wall there. Do you think Marty left that one or do you think it was there earlier?
Maybe. You can see there, that's a very clear no cars coming.
Yep.
So he did perfectly well. I think, no brakes lifted anyway. So that's a great result. As we have...
And it's unique because not a lot of times we always hear about it in terms of the real life racing, people trying to put their race stewarding hats on and these sorts of things. And look, I've had the ability to sit in those chairs for an extended period of time. I've been making those decisions. I've been giving feedback to leagues about what I would change within the rules to get better, more consistent rulings, not only for myself as a race controller, but also for the leagues and for the drivers and what's in their benefits. And it's these little things that you're assessing. It really actually, if anyone out there is interested in these sorts of things, go and do it, man. Go and absolutely do it. Book yourself in some time, contact a race controlling group, go out there, get yourself into volunteer sort of mode. Just sit there, listen to them, talk to them. Why are you issuing a penalty? Why are you going through the process? Because they do have a process, and it's all about creating... Everyone sits down the first time they ever get a penalty from a race controller and says, hey, these guys are just out to issue penalties. It's not the case. We're actually there for the driver's benefits. So if you go and listen to some of the feedback that they actually give about what's going on, why am I issuing a penalty, what's the process, you actually become a better driver because then you know how to, well, not cheat the system, but you certainly know how to keep yourself out of trouble with race control.
I'm just going through the pack. I'm just trying to find out if anyone is clutching as we're rolling around on the final parade lap. No one seems like Kay Donnelly.
Some are, because have a look, 6th gear on Kay Donnelly's on dash there. That's critical. These guys are preparing themselves for a green-white checker. They're saving a few little ounces of fuel such that they're good in the event of that green-white checker.
Yeah, I'm just going through. Just let me jump through for a little bit, guys. Everyone's in 6th gear right now, except for Dwayne. But yeah, it's fascinating. This has changed a lot of things. We had such a one and done race for the top 5 there, and now all of a sudden 2 cautions in. I think any fuel issues are probably out the window unless we do go green white checker, because these safety cars.
Before we go back to green here, Wilco.
Yep.
I've got one funny comment for you.
Oh no!
If you have a look at the Pinnacle Esports cars, do you know what drink that Justin Witcher would consume if you want to race here tonight?
No, what one?
A pale ale. He's got the pale livery on.
Wow, that's terrible. As they jump, Raymond Yeager and obviously Justin Witcher communicating there very well. I don't think they left the rear to front at all in that restart. And they've got a great jump on the Sim Boys as Gary Wellman jumps in behind. Gary Wellman goes high. He's looking for that momentum. Justin Witcher's boxed in here. He's got to be careful. We have 4 laps to go and it's all on the line here. Justin Witcher currently leading the championship. Raymond Yeager trying to defend the championship. We are around 5 of 24. There's a long way to go. But look at them all. They're all spread out. They all want to try and get as many points out of this race as they can. Aaron Dillon's up 13th, by the way, after being multiple laps down.
And critically, what I'm looking for from Witcher right now is he's happy. He's in a great spot. He's actually comfortable to shove Raymond Yeager out in front and let Raymond Yeager do the leading. Why? P3 is good enough. All the guys that are in this hunt with Richer, they're a lot further down in terms of the point standings. P3 is a great point site for him.
And have a think about teams. I know Greg Spencer's out tonight, but these 2 boys, that's a fair chunk of points if they finish 1-2 anyway. Obviously, 3 Sim Boys behind. I'm not sure how the Sim Boys split it up. But there's enough of them there to get almost maximum points out of it. They will take some points out of that team championship, but not too much if these guys finish 1-2. I was just about to say, Kim Roffey, great job. He was fairly well down at one stage, and he took a hit there at one stage, I think, as well. He's battling in the top 10 here with Tom Pritchard, 8th and 9th at the moment. As the 2 Pinnacles go really low, the Sim Boys stay high. As we get around for what is the final lap about to start in a sec, as we have one of the Sky Point Racing cars into the wall up high. That's going to lose some momentum and that's going to hurt him. As you can see, go back, number 91, Tom Pritchard, I was just mentioning before. We are final lap. All the moves have to be made now. Scotty, where do you want to be?
It's too late. It's over. These top 2 guys, they've got it locked in. So run to the flag. It's one and done.
Pinnacle Esports takes it over a whole sea of Sim Boys. What a race finish that was. Sorry, I didn't realize how far around the lap we were, but that is a great, well commanded race from Raymond Yeager and Justin Witcher there at the end. Very, very well done. I just had a look through the teams championship standings as well. The drivers entered for each of the teams here tonight. In terms of the Sim Boys, it's Nicholas Walsh, Gary Wellman, and Troy Davidson. Troy and Gary were the first 2 entries. Unfortunately, Nick Walsh was a long way further back as well. So that's actually a points advantage there for the Pinnacle Esports guys. Look at this for a finish. I just want to be able to move this camera. I think I can do it. Just give me a sec. We go there, we go there, we get that out of the way. We go that.
All you broadcasting guys that I work with, you just love this. You just get in and you've got to get technical with your camera. Oh, you can point the camera this way. You can do this with the camera. It's going to be fantastic. These guys have fun with their cameras, boys. And there's a lot of things you could do with the iRacing.
Yeah, no, I can't do it. Let's get out of that. Let's get out of that altogether.
Somebody's dropped the GoPro.
Yeah, that's crashed. Take us out of that altogether. I want to go to that one. That's what I want to go to. What a finish.
Have fun.
Yeah, look, I've got to get better at that. I've got a joystick ready to go so I can move the camera perfectly, but the cameras just aren't playing nice at the moment. What a finish. Oh, you can see there number 16 of Todd Maxwell getting very wide after the line in the bottom right-hand corner. What a finish. We've got some results to go through now. Let me go to show results, hide that, and then we go to this and we hide that as well. What a finish. We have 0.6 of a second for the top 10, almost 0.7. Raymond Yeager takes it over Justin Witcher, less than 1/10 of a second behind him. Troy Davison, Gary Wellman in 4th, Cade Donnelly in 5th, Todd Maxwell in 6th, Andy Barber in 7th, Kim Roffey, great drive tonight in 8th position, Aaron Dillon in 9th in the end there, which is a great drive from him. Tom Pritchard in 10th, as we saw him take a little bit of a hit to the wall, which dropped him back there as the Pinnacle boys in the background do some nice little burnouts. Adam Malone in 11th, Nick Walsh in 12th, Dwayne Pearce still only a second off the lead in 13th, Alan Gill in 14th, the first person more than a second off the lead. Brad Fenley, great drive tonight, 15th. Things could have gone better for him though. I think he had the strategy, just didn't get it right with that pit stop. Sean Hart, first car a lap down. We saw him involved in that accident. 16. Darren McKenzie got unlucky with strategy tonight, 17th. Derek Jacobs, didn't really hear much about him tonight, but that's a really good drive from him. Up 7 spots into 18th. Jamie Nankervis up many spots to 19th. Troy Mortensen in 20th position. Still only a lap down. Tristan Koch, Brett Campbell, Christopher Finlay. Peter Jones 2 laps down. Peter Gretton 3 laps down. Aaron Bryan 5 laps down. Matt Patton 9 laps down. And then the retirements from a fair way out is Aiden Schultz, Craig Roffey, Chris Tomlin, and the rest. Just reset it to the start. Barry Neal 31st in the end there. Dane, Nigel, Marty, who we saw at the end there, have a bit of an incident. Jai, who hurt his hand. Greg Spencer, unfortunately. Ed Bacon, Ruben Phelps, 57 laps down. He was doing a really good job there until he got caught up in that incident. Jason Wolf, Nick, and Stephen Hall, we heard, got disqualified, and the other two their way back as well. Whew, what a race.
Run and done. Let's talk to some podiums.
Let's do that. I'm just not ready though. We've got to get Discord up. What a finish. We want to grab, who is there ready to go?
Way ahead of you, Wilco. We got Troy Davison from finishing in P3.
You take it. Yeah. You go for it.
Here we go. We were organised this week. Troy, Simboy's entries running strong just about right the way through the night there. A little bit of a disappointing result for Aaron Dillon. Pitted early, went with a different strategy. By the looks of things, sped on pit lane entry or hit his incident point limit. But that's sort of been the season for you guys. It's been cookie cutters, I think, have been the tricky ones to manage with the introduction of the incident points. How are you guys finding that one so far?
Yeah, it was a good race. It's only a few yellows, but yeah, I think most people sort of kept it pretty clean. So, yeah, congrats to Razor and Justin 1 and 2, but they were strong all night. But no, it's a good fun race.
Mate, it's been a strong outfit. I actually looking at you and the finishes and the number of times I think we've been talking about you this season. Would you say? I think it's fair to say this is probably the strongest showing you've had. We've seen you have a lot of flash in the pan results previously, but I think this is the most consistent season that you've actually put together. I'm actually really impressed from you this season.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. No, it went real well last season, but I was just being inconsistent, a bit of personal stuff going on and everything. So, yeah, this season sort of hopefully that's my probably aim is just to keep everything as consistent as I can because it's a long run for the rest of the season. So, yeah, just want to sort of keep that consistency and see how we go later in the year.
Mate, look, I mean, it's the second time we've had you up here this season to have a chat to us as well, which has been phenomenal. It's been phenomenal seeing the results coming out of the 023. Cookie cutters last week at Pocono was an interesting race, sort of a lot of race management, keeping yourself in it. Tonight it was just about getting the cautions and being in the right place in terms of pit strategy at the right times. I mean, you saw effectively the Pinnacle boys and Cabo just disappear off up the track after that last round of green flag pit stops, and then you get a yellow, bring yourself back together. Always got to feel you're in a game with a yellow flag at the tail end of the race.
Yeah, that's it. They sort of got a gap on us because there was a bit of a crash that split the pack, but it didn't bring out a yellow, so they sort of had a 4 to 6 second gap on us, I think it was. And if it hadn't have been a yellow, they would have just, the three of them would have just drove away. But that yellow brought it back into play, and it's sort of anyone's there. But I think during the race, the high line, you could make it work, but at the end there, you had to be down the bottom. So I was sort of coming into the last lap, and I was sort of arming and ahhing what I could do for him. But I think if I had went high, I just would have exposed myself. So I was just happy to bring it home in third in the end.
And that was it. I think the biggest part about coming into that last lap is with draft pack cars, there is sort of a maximum distance that you can make up over that lap. And you just started that. The race was done before you got to the white flag, effectively. It's just a car length too far behind to do much about it. And that's all it was, that crossing the line as well.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, some tracks you can sort of really make it work, especially in these cars. But you got to time your run right, because if you don't, you expose yourself to the cars coming behind you, and you sort of get yourself out of position. So I was sort of looking at where I was in the championship and who I was up against, and obviously Razor and Justin are both there. But other than that, sort of it was going to be a good night for me. So I was just happy to bring it home in third.
All right, mate. Well, another cracking finish, and like I said, I'm really, really enjoying seeing the 023 on the podium multiple times so far this season. So thanks to all the guys that put it together for you.
Now,
yeah, cheers.
Before we throw you out, Troy, and before we ask who you want to thank, I just had a quick look at the championship table. Fascinating result here. The way they finished tonight is pretty much how the championship table is going to look after tonight as well. So you've jumped up into third after jumping up 11 spots last week. You're going to jump up another 2 tonight to be in third by the look of it, by my math. So congratulations, mate.
Yeah, that's awesome, Wilco. I sort of that'd be great, and I'm one race down, so that's sort of pretty stoked on that. Obviously, with the 2 drop rounds this season, I've just got to try to turn up as many races as I can and be as consistent as I can. But if you took that out of the equation, it'd probably be even a couple more steps.
Yeah,
I would have thought.
Definitely, yeah. It's weird seeing 3 starts compared to 4 for the top 13. You're the only one up there, well ahead of Todd Maxfield, who's the other person, next person down on the 14th place with 3 starts. So you're doing an amazing job, mate. But who do you want to thank and who do you want to shout out?
Yeah, cheers, Wilco. Yeah, just again our team sponsors, Hot Toddy Heating Stalls, United Electrical, Ferris Shifters, and again, just all the broadcast, all the series sponsors. And I'll thank the missus this week. She told me off last week, so the amount of time we put on it, I better give her a shout out.
I'll give you a hint. Next time, thank her first off, mate. Thank her first off. But no, well done. We will definitely have you back up here again soon. You'll have many times to thank her in the future. You're doing a great job, and we'll talk to you again soon, mate. Yeah,
cheers, fellas. No, thanks again.
All right, we better let you go, Troy, so you can start making sure that you're available to race next weekend, eh?
See you, mate.
See you then, Troy. Thanks, mate.
See you, man.
Well, that's speed number 3. It's always interesting talking to drivers up and down the field. They're a great number of personalities. The next one, unfortunately, I think we've talked to Justin Witcher just a few too many times this season. Justin, can you let some other people have a few podiums, mate? You're making a bit of a habit of this.
Once you get on the roll, can't get rid of it.
Mate, great final restart from both you and Ray. That's, if you're going to work together well as a team, you want to control that restart. You want to get together. You want to, get the run going early. I was a little bit worried you might have pushed yourselves a little bit too far out in front. Gary Wellman certainly had a crack at yours, but that's how she wrote. And from you, mate, I'm actually really impressed. It looked like you were in for a points haul night. You weren't going for an out-and-out win too.
I think Troy might have touched on it just before, that me and Raymond I think it was the second last caution, we worked out that on the short run, as long as you had that bottom line, you were pretty well covered. I think it was coming into the white flag. I said to Raymond, we need to get down on the across the line just to break a bit of a draft. And we did, and it sort of worked out, gave us a bit of a gap. But, it was a bit of 43 cars here. Assuming there would be some chaos. And so start at the back and make our way up and work out a decent position and go from there.
Before I let Scotty talk again, Justin, congratulations, obviously. I did make a little mistake. You and Raymond are opposite. You're still leading the championship, Raymond. I said the top 3 was how they finished for the championship. Currently standing, so well done on retaining your lead in the championship for starters. But talk me through that midsection. We saw you sort of 4 or 5 seconds off the main pack there. Were you just saving fuel, saving tyres, and just staying out of trouble in that section?
Yeah, I found myself in a bit nice gap. I think Ruben was behind me. He was doing the same. So once you get sort of figure out you're with blokes that are trying to do the same as you, you're safe with keeping out of incidents. But fuel-wise, I was actually worse because every time I was 3-4 laps down on Raymond and all that, who caught the draft. So, yeah, it was sort of just look after the tyres, hope that something comes up. And, of course, caution did come up, and that's when we went in. I think I was still at like 84% on the right front. So I just thought, bugger it, I'm going to burn them up and get to the front and see what happens.
So you didn't change tyres in that last pit stop, that green flag stop?
Yes, I did. Yes, we did. So we double cindered the first 2.
Okay.
And then I had... so I can't remember how it worked out, but I had... Raymond was better on fuel, but he had burned his tyres up, earlier in the race. So I was able to go a bit longer at a decent pace. So that's why I kept going.
Very nice to see, mate. You had, like I said, you had it in the bag there at the end with a lap to go. You put yourself in the right position. What are you looking at for the week's break and before you come back? You're happy to be in the lead, obviously, of the championship right now?
Yeah. I personally, I like it. I feel, when you see a guy that's first or, on top of the ladder like Raymond was last year, you start racing them, I think you get a bit scared of them, knowing that they're on a roll. I sort of like being that bloke. Also, it doesn't put me under pressure because, you slip 10 points here, you slip 10 points there. You start, I do, I start to panic and sort of start making rash decisions, and it just gets worse from there.
Yeah, no.
Okay, he does have a weakness. Justin Richard does have a weakness. It's just getting one bad result out of him first. That's all we're going to do.
Shouldn't be too hard, mate. Now, look, congratulations. You're in a really good patch of form, and this is a very strong field. We talked to them before about how good the driving standards are. Did you find that driving through the middle pack before?
Yeah, all the boys have been really good. Obviously, the guys that have been around for a while, like I said a few times prior that in rounds before this, that you sort of get around guys that what they're going to do. They're happy to let you go early and race you hard later. And some guys are the opposite. They want to get up in front at the start, and then, if they know they're beat, they'll let you go. So the whole group is a good group to race.
Yeah, definitely. So congratulations again, mate. Who do you want to thank and who do you want to shout out?
Just the boys, start off with it. Pinnacle Esports, so Nige, Greg, Matt and Raymond. Our sponsors, Witcher Electrics and Sim Racing Edge. League sponsors, My Private Seller, Locked On Lads, United Electrical Solutions, Hot Toddy's Heating Installs, Sim Racing Edge, Pagney and Advanced Simulation, there's a few, and Witcher Electrics. And again, most importantly, you two boys for putting on the broadcast.
Yeah, thanks, mate. We will get rid of you and we'll get the winner of the race up into the booth. We'll talk to you again very soon, though, Justin. I'm very sure about that one. Let's get the winner of the race, the man who's defending the championship, Raymond Yeager. Welcome and congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, mate. It's good to be here on the top step for once.
Yeah, what happened in quali? Tell me.
Oh, so I didn't get to do any practice because I was trying to fix my rig, which with like literally 5 minutes before quali started, so I didn't get any practice. And then when I went into coming out of turn 2, I got loose and nearly spun on my quali lap, so that sort of killed all the momentum. And then I just drove around on the second lap, and so I think we started about 34th or something crazy like that, which was not ideal. But look, credit to all the drivers tonight. We were 3 and 4 wide, but there was plenty of room given and taken, which was good.
Now, I want to quickly touch on one part. You got yourself to the front there for a while, then you found yourself probably 10th or 12th for a little while there. What happened? Was it tyres conservation, or you just didn't want to be up front there with the crew?
Yeah, so the plan was.
There was a plan. Okay, cool.
No, there was a plan. The plan was to come through the field and lead a lap as quickly as I could, and then just drop back and just conserve tyres because I knew tyres were going to be the main thing. But old mate Mackenzie, I'll tell you what, he's a bloody good driver. He would not let me lead a lap. I had to burn way too much tyres to to get that lap led. So well done, Darren. It was good fun racing up the front there, and I got one led, and then I just dropped to the back of the lead pack there, and just tried to save as much as I could from there.
Now, we talked to Justin about what it means to be leading the championship, going to the break, only five rounds into it. What does the team championship mean to you at the moment?
Honestly, that's the only thing I'm worried about at this point. The individual championship will take care of itself. It's a long season. Tonight and last week, it was important for me and Justin to get good results because Greg got involved in one of the early incidents both weeks. So we knew he was going to be a one-pointer. So it was important for myself and Justin to finish in the top 5 or 10 just to make sure we can bank as many points as possible because, that's what we want to win. We want to win the teams championship. When it gets to the last 3 or 4 rounds, I'll have a look at the individual championship and see where we're at and see if we need to do something.
Well, after the not such a good start to the season, I think you find yourself in second at the moment, if the way I work it out is correct. So congratulations on that little run. Especially, it'll be interesting to see when the actual drop rounds come into effect. But give us a bit of a rundown of what you think of the. Obviously, you're running the league. How do you think the league's going at the moment?
Oh, mate, it's going better than I could have possibly imagined.
Would you say better than a hot toddies?
Yeah, well, I don't know if anything's better than their heating installs, mate. But look, it's going amazing. We've had 40 plus drivers every single week so far. If it keeps going, I'm sure there were some guys that got locked out of the session tonight because Kansas only has 43 pit bays.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure some guys that wanted to race couldn't get in, so we're going to have to, if it keeps going like this, I assumed there was going to be some drop-off at some point, but so far there hasn't been.
Multiple new names there tonight that I'd never seen. Now, the other thing is Scops was on tonight too, so all the fast
V8 not just Scops, the tail end of the Majors Le Mans 24 hour as well.
And you still got 43.
Yeah, I knew that the Majors Le Mans was on, so I thought we may be missing a couple. But
I can tell you a few cars for sure that were definitely missing. I was talking to just about everyone that was doing majors out of Australia, and there was a couple. Warwick Sharp was one actually. Been a mainstay, but yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, look, we're going to have to look at potentially a pre-qualifying sort of situation on these tracks that don't hold, sort of 50, 60 cars potentially. But me, Greg, Nigel will have a chat about that over the next week or two if it continues and make a decision, and we'll let everyone know. And but at this stage, yeah, as I said, unbelievable. The drivers can't do it without him, obviously wouldn't do it without him. The group we have is unbelievable. To have 43 cars on that track tonight and only have, I think, 3, maybe 4 cautions, pretty incredible. So, yeah, loving it.
It's very good and fun to call. It's definitely a good league to watch at the moment. So I'm just enjoying that part of it. So congratulations on that. But we need to wrap this up. So who do you want to thank and who do you want to shout out?
Oh, well, same blokes as Justin just said, really. Obviously, Greg, Nige, Matt, and Justin from the team. These boys make getting on and racing fun. So thanks to them. Team sponsors, which are Electrics and the Sim Racing Edge. League sponsors, we've got obviously amazing guys. My Private Seller, United Electrical Solutions, Hot Toddy's Heating Installs, the Sim Racing Edge, Pagnian Advanced Simulation, which are electrics, and of course you guys at Locked On Lads TV. You guys are doing a fantastic job. It's getting better every single week. And yeah, really appreciate it. So thank you.
No problems at all, mate. We will
There you
talk.
go, Wilco. He's
What?
even happy when you drop the GoPro from the
Yeah,
flag
that was pretty
tower.
shocking.
That's okay.
I'll get my camera sorted out soon. Don't worry. Thank you again, Raymond. We'll talk to you again soon. No problems. Enjoy the week off, mate. Enjoy the week off.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really am. Thanks, guys.
Okay, that is the round 5 run and done. We've made ourselves to the break. We have got the current schedule up on the screen right now for all you playing at home. First 5 are done, so we'll be back on June the 19th for Chicagoland Speedway, followed by Michigan International, Kentucky Speedway, and then Texas, Atlanta. Look at all these Speedway, Scotty. They're all saying Speedway. There's all kinds of chaos ensuing. iRacing Super Speedway is going to be very interesting on the 24th of July. What do you reckon of that one, just quickly?
The league has actually run there before 2 seasons ago at iRacing Super Speedway, and it tended to create a lot of chaos. It is the widest track with the most banking on iRacing, and it is unique. Yeah, that's about the only word that covers it appropriately.
That is very unique. I've done it once in the trucks, and yeah, it was chaos. But yeah, look, thank you everyone who has been watching tonight. I just quickly getting some stuff set up in the background. We're going to basically have a week off, which I desperately need as well. But we'll be back in for that 19th of June race. Scotty, thank you so much for being an absolute legend and calling it and making me sound a bit more believable. You've done a great job.
Mate, you're doing great. You haven't made any bad jokes yet, so you're doing perfectly
I don't
fine.
have
I was just
time
about
to
say.
make bad jokes at the moment. I'm too busy concentrating on everything else at the moment. We will want to shout out though, Carl Wilkinson Withy. We need you back ASAP. You I hope you're all going well and getting better anyway.
You complain about my jokes, that you want to invite Carl back so that there's 2 of us making
Then I
bad
don't have
jokes.
to make any jokes. I can just sit in the background and press buttons. It's really good.
Mate, a week off. I'm looking forward to a rundown of my private cellar so I can get something out and enjoy it next weekend.
That's it. Thank you to all the sponsors that make this league run. They've been very great. My Private Seller for being the naming sponsor as well. But like I said, we'll be back Wednesday. Coincidentally, for Anscar Thunder Series, brought to you by the Australasian Supercar eSeries. It's going to be an interesting one. So keep an eye out for that one. As I said, the week off, so be back for Thunder the following week as well. But I hope you're all enjoying the series. Hope you're all enjoying our content. Remember, like, subscribe, you know, all those fancy stuff that all the YouTubers and fancy streamers say. But it really does help. Locked On iRacing Podcast is on hiatus at the moment because of time. In real life, we just don't have it. But it'll hopefully be back soon. But otherwise, check over the Locked On Lads on Facebook if you want to keep up with everything that's going on. But until 2 weeks' time, thank you everyone for dropping by, and we'll catch you soon.